Well, ladies and gentlemen, certainly a sight to warm everybody's hearts. Avro Lancaster Hawker Hurricane. Legends from the Second World War. The only Lancaster flying on this side of the Atlantic, only two flying. Beautifully maintained by the BBMF, as well as the Hurricane. The stable of Spitfires. Look at that. Isn't that absolutely magnificent? Coming in again from your left. That beautiful sound of the Rolls-Royce Merlin engines. Breaking into the two display elements.
The Hurricane there was in a position that was adopted by many of the German night fighters. They attacked the bombers from beneath, because if it was behind, of course, you were vulnerable to the tail gunner or the mid-upper gunner in the Lancaster itself. Well, all of the RAF and US Air Force bombers. So using night radar to identify the target, they would obviously come up from underneath and shoot into the defenceless belly.
Using that obliquely mounted cannons in the top of the fuselage, a Schrager-Musik. Now from our right, ladies and gentlemen, the Lancaster, one of 7,400 built. As the Lancaster departs, the Hurricane now approaching for its solo display. Very, very thick wing, evident from the front on view. It's making its name in the Battle of Britain with the Spitfire defeating the Luftwaffe. Beautiful aileron roll there, the so-called victory roll. Those classic words come to mind out of the movie of the Battle of Britain. Just trying to cheer them up.
That was after the rollicking by the CO, wasn't it? Robert Shaw, I think, saying, "What, you've been shot up and your controls were damaged and you've done that roll over the airfield, you stupid boy." I don't think he said stupid boy, but I think that was implicit.
Hurricanes, of course, shooting down more of the German aircraft during the Battle of Britain, because particularly they went after the bombers and the Spitfires, not always, but heading for the fighters. And despite that, it's been said by many Hurricane pilots since the end of the war that if they'd have only had Hurricanes, they potentially would have lost the battle. Biplane fighter bombers that were produced by construction at the same time. They were round tubes squared off. There were stainless steel gusset plates with rivets and ferrules, all of that braced by wires, surrounded by wooden frames and then wooden stringers, and all covered by fabric. And in the early Hurricanes, the wings were also fabric covered with fixed pitch wooden propellers. Of course, they gave way to the Gaudy Rotol constant speed units. The wings were fully covered in metal. Machine guns, but of course as the Hurricane was used in many theatres during the war and as the war progressed, fitted with less machine guns, some fitted with 420mm cannon, also the tank busting cannons for the Western Desert operations, used as night fighters, so a really versatile machine.
Machine gun or cannon shells of the Messerschmitt 109s or whatever didn't hit any vital components. They would often just pass right through from one side of the aircraft to the other. It could be easily and quickly repaired just by splashing on some dope and some additional Irish linen. And Hurricane pilots always said it was a very stable gun platform as well. So Hurricane exits to the right and then move your eyes 30-40 degrees to the left, and there's the Lancaster coming in low over the trees.
What a wonderful sight there. You can imagine at this sort of low level down through the Ruhr Valley from the Mona Dam.
Yes, even lower for the dam busters raid. They had to come in across the water at 60 feet. Which they achieved by having a searchlight at each end of the fuselage pointing at the ground and set to converge when the aircraft was 60 feet above the ground, which was the optimal height for releasing the bomb. Operation Chastise that was, and the bomb itself carried not inside the bomb bay for the dam busters raid, but strung underneath the fuselage and on a couple of pulleys that then imparted a spin to the cylindrical bomb as it was getting ready to be released, which allowed it to skip across the surface of the water, hit the dam, sink, and that optimized the bomb's explosive power.
What a beautiful sight there, that aircraft. It just evokes so much.
Yes. There's the bomb bay open, you can see. Capable of carrying up to 22,000 pounds of bombs, I think, including bombs like the Grand Slam and the Tall Boy, described as earthquake bombs and designed by Sir Barnes Wallis, as was the Dam Busters bomb. And to carry the Dam Busters bomb, the mid-upper turret was actually removed from the Dam Busters aircraft to take away excess weight. And it's hard to believe that the leader of the Dam Busters raid, Wing Commander Guy Gibson, was only 25 years old at the time. And many Battle of Britain fighter pilots were only 18 or 19 years old.
But nearly 7,400 of these that were manufactured, nearly 3,300 were lost on operations during the Second World War. And of course, they were not only to be used in Europe, but had the war continued, as part of Tiger Force, that they were going to be sent to assist in the final operations against Japan, even using long-range tanks on the top of the fuselage.
Well, this actual aircraft was destined for Tiger Force, but the war ended before it could be deployed. Thankfully, so it's still around for us to see today.
was used by a number of different air forces, as well as the RAF and all of the Commonwealth squadrons that operated within the RAF. The Canadians used them for anti-submarine patrol, as did the French, and one of those ex-French machines is now in the Western Australian Air Museum. It was flown down and donated by the French, and the French also recovered one, I won't say recently, from Wallis Island up near New Caledonia, and it's being restored for Le Bourget to represent that country's use of the type. Of course, it's incredible also to think that the Lancaster emerged from the almost failed Manchester. So upgrading to 2 to 4 engines, changing them to Merlins. You had the Lancaster, which then spawned the Avro Lincoln, which was very similar but quite a bit bigger, used by the RAF in Malaya and also in Kenya. And then the Avro Shackleton. So look at that, wheels down in what they call a configured pass, or a so-called dirty pass.
And instrumental in the Lancaster design was Sir Roy Chadwick, who fulfilled a similar role in the Avro Vulcan, so a very different aircraft, very different bomber, very different design, but the same design intelligence behind it.
Absolutely beautiful. It reminds you of some of the paintings of the bombers returning from Europe. That was a real Robert Tower.
Imagine the noise of a whole squadron taking off.
Well, that's what I mentioned earlier on. That is one aspect of World War II that people will never... They can see one aeroplane, but can you imagine hundreds of them leaving? Here we believe this is the aircraft's last pass. Just wait to see if it forms up with the Hurricane. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That is beautiful. We're all very privileged to see that here at the Midlands Air Festival at Ragley. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they can't hear you, but certainly put your hands together for the Lancaster and the Hurricane of the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight.